Silent Hill doesn't want to be summarized. Countless times while poring over this colossal script, I felt like a trespasser, a poacher. I wanted to cage something that didn't belong in a box. And every single time I tried, another tendril spilled out from the confines. I missed another detail. I forgot another character. For something so pervasive, dark, twisted, Lynchian, it was fitting that creating this video became my own nightmare. It was on that precipice of break that I realized something. The title of Silent Hill is not just a franchise, it's an experience, and one well worth enduring. I won't cage this beast, no. I will let it free from its trap and out to play. People think Silent Hill's about scary shit, but it's more than that.
What are you talking about?
They're games about grief, fear, the human condition. This has been my most requested video thus far. I'd never played Silent Hill before, so I wanted to make sure I walked the walk. Every game I could reasonably play, I did. And I gotta say, I'm in love. I really am.
I think I'm gonna puke.
These games have multiple endings, so we're gonna be explaining those most canonical and fitting to the overall chronology of the series. That's usually gonna be good or good plus. I'm gonna consider the best possible ending as canon.
Damn.
But don't worry, I'm still gonna show you those wacky endings you're probably hearing about. This video in particular is not an objective timeline of events. There are plenty of those out there, and I recommend them wholly. But personally, I believe Silent Hill as a series that deserves to be experienced.
I'm going to Silent Hill.
I've assembled what I feel is the best way we can talk together as we walk through the fog. So please,
sit back, relax, and enjoy. Welcome to Silent Hill.
It's 1983. There's a cult in Silent Hill. And Harry Mason and his daughter Cheryl Mason end up in the belly of the beast when their vacation pretty quickly sours. Driving down the road one misty night, Harry would spot a police officer en route to the titular town. And just at the precipice of the town's cliffside, he would encounter the spectral visage of one Alessa Gillespie. And eventually, when Harry awakens, he realizes the gravity of the situation. His car's totaled, his daughter's missing, and he is smack dab in the middle of a fog-laden nightmare. Now, if the oppressive gloom and out-of-season snow didn't alarm Harry, I think this would do the trick.
What is this? What's going on here?
Yeah, something must have happened to Harry back there. He's losing consciousness, he can't keep track of time, and he keeps visiting an absolute fucking nightmare world. Head trauma's not out of the question. I mean, there's about 6 times where he passes out and goes to hell. Yeah, Harry wakes up from these stints in limbo to the oddest of places. The first being Cafe 522, where he meets Sybil Bennett, the officer from earlier. She assures Harry that there's something afoot in this town and she's gonna get to the bottom of it. And if Harry's dead set on finding Cheryl in a place like this, he ought to take a radio and a handgun. Harry eventually finds a note from Cheryl, and it's likely that she's been kidnapped and taken to Midwich Elementary School. And trust me, it fucking sucks over there. Navigating the school is a frustrating task at times, though I still found myself really enjoying the scenery, because eventually at the apex of his investigation, Harry is confronted in the boiler room by Splithead, a gnarly beast of the otherworld. Then he kicks the shit out of him, it's fine. But once returning back to the material realm, he hears the dolorous chiming of bells. And rushing to the origin of the racket, he meets with Dahlia Gillespie, and her whole vibe is, it's very intense. She hands Harry an object known as the Flauros, something she calls a
Cage of Peace,
and claims it's going to counteract the growing darkness in the town. Clearly, it's an artifact of extreme power. It can contain or reject some of the most serious magic out there. The Flauros isn't something to fuck with. Hell, Dahlia is not someone to fuck with. But you know who doesn't know any of this? Harry. Poor chap has to just take it all at face value and continue his journey, finding his missing daughter. Eventually, Harry does make his way to Alchemilla Hospital, where he is met with Dr. Michael Kaufman, the director. Kaufman does not fuck around at all.
Hold it! Stop!
He's gonna make it out of Silent Hill if it's the last thing he does. He's straight-laced and he's a hard ass.
Do you know a girl called Alessa?
No.
You'll soon find out. Pretty fucking awful human being, though. He gives Harry a hard time more than once in the true ending timeline, but I don't know, I still kind of enjoy him in this game. Another person we meet is Lisa Garland, who is suffering from amnesia and is scared out of her fucking mind. And it seems that every time Harry speaks to Lisa, he starts to question reality further and further more. Is he dead? Is this hell? What is this? What if this is a hallucination of a dying mind? Is Cheryl even real? Is Harry real? See, Lisa won't leave the hospital. She fears the worst and she can't understand why. Harry does respect this decision and decides that Lisa should stay while he ventures out into the darkness. It's around this time for the good plus ending, Harry's got to find Kaufman in Annie's bar. And when he does, he's able to save him from a demon attack and discover his drug trafficking ring. What the fuck? Harry finds a bottle of a Glaufatus. It's a squirt bottle that can exorcise demons. Not made up, by the way. This recipe is actually in the real-life Simon Necronomicon, so, like, it's kind of real, I guess? It's based on a real thing. Anyways, when he does, Kaufman chews him out.
Give me that!
And then he makes his leave. Eventually, Harry does regroup with Sybil and later even Dahlia, and he's starting to get the full picture. Silent Hill as it stands now is the manifestation of Alessa's haunted psyche. And when soon Dahlia returns, she warns that if Harry fails to pacify her, it spells death for Cheryl. So now the clock's ticking, and it's a race to Alessa. On his way back from the lighthouse, Harry actually runs into Sybil again. What's up, Sybil? How's it? Holy shit. Anyways, Harry squirts her in the face and she's fine. And that little grub fucker crawls right out of there. And with Sybil safely exorcised, this actually secures the good plus ending. You're good to go. Speaking of endings, by the way, we're at the final chapter, where Harry unwittingly captures and neutralizes Alessa with the Flauros. And Dahlia admits her evil plan in a monologue. This was all your doing, Harry. You're so stupid. You did everything I asked for. Time to make my own daughter birth God. Yeah, you heard that right. Harry is so, grief-stricken, he takes a nap, I guess. Where which he awakens once again in the Alchemilla Hospital beside Lisa. She explains how she's gathered the courage to go down to the basement, where she had a sense of deja vu. And when they meet again, Lisa has had an epiphany, and it is one that would damn her.
Harry?
Lisa, what's the matter with you?
All these demented nurses in the building, why would she believe herself to be any different? They've all been corrupted, manipulated, and now they're living a haunted existence. Lisa was no different. She suffered the same abuse, and in her mind, she's...
I'm the same as them. Save me from them. Please. Harry?
Lisa?
this is something that Silent Hill is amazing at. In my opinion, it's the reason to play. With Lisa's theme front and center, you wander the hallways of the hospital, and you're not scared. You're empty, broken. This feeling, this is Silent Hill. Harry can return to the room, but all that remains is her diary, to which it's revealed that Lisa was Alessa's nurse. Her supernatural physiology disturbed Lisa so profoundly, and despite her pleading with Kaufman to reassign Alessa to a different nurse, he refused. And this led to a drug addiction that Kaufman himself enabled. It was the only thing keeping Lisa from losing her mind. And Harry doesn't even have the time to grieve. He's got to find Dahlia, and he's got to find her now. It's about this time where the player and Harry realize Alessa's completely lost it. We're not in the other world anymore. That's for fucking chumps. Now we're in nowhere. A manifestation of Alessa's deepest fears and memories. And it's here in nowhere where the final confrontation is had. Alright, so things get really fucking confusing very quickly, and I'm gonna try my best to explain this as concisely as possible. Dahlia, confronted by Sybil, stands with a figure in a wheelchair, and Alessa's spectral form. The figure in bandages is Alessa, recombined. This being the state she was in when Dahlia first sacrificed her.
My daughter will be the mother of God.
God revives and possesses Alessa, creating what is known as the Incubator. With the good plus ending, Kaufman tells that thing to fuck off, shoots Dahlia, squirts the Incubator, and then the demon is exorcised from her.
What the?
Where we're treated to the true final boss fight with this scary motherfucker, the Incubus. And he can get you pretty good. 2 shots of Palpatine lightning and you're fucking down for the count. It took me a few good tries to wing this guy, but when it finally falls, it's such a huge relief and an amazing time. When Harry finally defeats the monster, the Incubator is able to reincarnate Cheryl into an infant, which he then hands to him for safety. And while everybody's trying to get the fuck out of Dodge, Lisa Garland resurfaces from the depths to capture Kaufman, drag me to hell style. And just as if it looks they're not going to make it out alive, the Incubator is able to stop time before collapsing, allowing the couple to escape. And with her brave sacrifice, Harry and Sybil make it out alive, and at the break of dawn, they celebrate new life. We also get this Full House ending by the end. I think it ties a little cute bow on things. I like it. Silent Hill is kind of a celebration of Americana. I think it's a trend we were lucky to see in the early 90s. Developers overseas loved painting a vignette of many literary and media references for us to enjoy, like some odd 20 years later.
Come on, no card you play's gonna help. Just end your turn.
Like, for instance, Portishead was apparently huge in the town of Silent Hill because there's posters everywhere. I'm gonna go ahead and blame Akira Yamaoka for this one, because, clearly he was a fan. Also, speaking of references, every single street in Silent Hill named after a famous author. Something I think people miss a lot, and I think it's really neat. Also, some more morbid backstory for you here. Though most characters were named after an actor or a family of a director, Sybil Bennett is named after Laurencia Bimbenek, a real-life murderer and policewoman. Also, Harry and Cheryl were to be named Humbert and Dolores, specifically referencing Stanley Kubrick's Lolita. Look, I'm gonna be honest, I think if you're watching this video, I trust you understand why that was met with insane pushback. So rather, the man who was in charge of the translation namings just used his own nickname, Harry. In 2009, Climax Studios, real name, and Konami released Silent Hill Shattered Memories, a retelling of the original Silent Hill story, ported to the Nintendo Wii, PS2, and PSP. It takes place in an alternate universe in the year 2008, where Sherry is once again looking for Cheryl. There's no real combat, the game is much more cinematic, let's say. Dr. Kaufman is actually Harry's psychotherapist who helps with his missing memory. And Sybil, you see Sybil again, because she places Harry under a very light arrest when he breaks into his old home.
My daughter is gone, and you people are in my house!
Also, Dahlia is back too, and she's pretending to be Harry's past lover. Anyways, a lot of frozen hijinks ensue, but Sybil pulls Harry from the icy brine and has to break to him that he's been dead for 18 years.
But Harry Mason was killed in a car crash 18 years ago.
He died in a car crash on the way to Silent Hill all those years ago. And we flash and boom, it's actually Cheryl Mason in psychotherapy. In the good ending, she's able to take the news pretty well. She watches a tape of Harry consoling her, reassuring her she's not the reason for her parents' divorce. All right, jeez. Look, people have lauded Silent Hill 2 as the greatest game of the entire series. Now, I'm gonna be so honest with you, it's deserved. I love it. I think if there's a statement we can all agree with, it's that it's the penultimate Silent Hill. Team Silent really proved themselves, and with time and money, they were allowed to tell the stories they really wanted to. And let me fucking tell you, they had something to prove. It shines as a beacon, emblematic to its mission. You want Silent Hill? Well, here you go, fucker. Strap in.
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday. But you never did. Well, I'm alone there now. In our special place. Waiting for you.
These are the first lines in a letter that James Sunderland has just received from his wife, Mary.
Are you taping again? Come on.
It's beautiful, but there's just one problem. Mary's been dead for 3 years. It's the dread and intrigue of this that would land him in a rusty, dingy bathroom on a foggy Maine morning. Searching for answers with or without the love of his life has him return to hallowed ground. This special place, Silent Hill. Cruising through the town, James finds himself in a graveyard where he meets Angela Orozco.
Excuse me,
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I didn't mean to scare you.
And as it turns out, Angela is actually looking for somebody, her mother, who has been missing for some time now. And as the two speak, she warns James that something about Silent Hill it's dangerous.
This town, there's something wrong with it. It's kind of hard to explain, but...
Is it dangerous?
Maybe. And it's not just the fog, either.
Okay, I got it. I'll be careful.
I'm not lying.
No, I believe you.
James, a man on a mission, hardly heeds the warning. He just burns a trail towards the town. Once James arrives, the oppressive fog makes itself known, swathing the lakeside town in a blanket of gray. James wanders the monster-ridden streets for a while, and it sucks, because of course it does. And he happens upon a radio, which emits a garbled message, but he knows it sounds like Mary. He's just not certain. Anyways, he shakes that off and tries to get to Rosewater Park, what he infers is their special place. This would place James in the Woodside apartment complex, which is like the world's worst place to live. Eventually, James does meet Laura, who's a little snot. Her first action of the game is to stomp on James' hand while he reaches for a key.
Ow! Hey, wait! Damn it.
And she heads into, I don't know, the fucking abyss? Like, look at these hallways. What the fuck's up with these? I feel like I'm gonna see something that's gonna make me shit my... Oh yeah, that's Eddie, by the way. He's stuck here too.
It wasn't me. I didn't do it.
Do what?
I mean, I wasn't asking. Wait, did you fucking kill a dude, Eddie?
Killing a person ain't no big deal.
Whatever, man. Look, just take care of yourself, all right? Entering another apartment, James meets once again with Angela, and it's not a very happy reunion.
I'm sorry. I've been bad. Please, don't.
Don't examine that knife, by the way. Not if you're looking for a good ending. Eventually, James does run into that little snot from earlier.
It was you, wasn't it? You're the one who stepped on my hand.
I don't know. Maybe I did.
Again, this is Laura, and she actually seems to know Mary. Matter of fact, she knows Mary so well, she seems comfortable saying that,
You didn't love Mary anyway.
Wait! How do you know Mary's name?
that fucking hurts. Anyways, it's finally time to head to Rosewater, the supposed special place. And wow, we can really take in the vista of fucking nothing.
Mary? No, you're not.
Do I look like your girlfriend?
Say, you're not a psychosexual manifestation of my dead wife, are you?
So it's okay?
Yeah, fine.
After a pretty awkward encounter, James is now partnered up with Maria for a third of the game. So I guess if you like watching people strike cunty poses while in hell, this is gonna be your favorite fucking part. Okay, so Rosewater was a bust. Why don't we try Lakeview Hotel? I mean, it's the only other idyllic place he could imagine Mary resting. And this trek takes him through Pete's Bowl-orama, where once again, he meets with Eddie and Laura.
Eddie?
Oh, you're...
James.
And they shoot the shit, and Laura dips again.
Bye-bye.
Wait! Come back! Eddie, let's go after her.
Huh?
And obviously Maria's a little concerned for her safety, so she sends James out to go look for her. And the destination ahead is Brookhaven Hospital, the mental institution of South Vale. And on the way there, they blow through Heaven's Night, a strip joint where Maria seems to work. Eventually, they do make it to the institution and pop a few demon nurses in the dome. And during this stint, Maria is noticeably more frail and ill.
It's just a hangover.
To the point of her really actually needing to rest in a hospital room. And James is allowing her some time alone where he's able to find Laura.
Laura?
Huh?
Where he interrogates her on this whole Mary business. She's been dead for 3 years, kid. What's all the hubbub about?
You liar! Laura,
Fine, don't believe me.
And to reward us for both this interrogation and locating her, Laura locks James in the fucking meat locker.
Laura! What are you doing? You snotty little brat! Open up!
Okay, that fucking sucked, but at least it's over, right? Maria, you should see this shit. It's... Where the fuck is Maria? When James finally does find her again, Maria's, like, rightfully kind of pissed. James is pretty single-minded here, vision tunneling on his one desire to find Mary. His dismissal of Maria's regards of safety lead to the most fucked up back and forth I have ever heard in these games.
Anyway, I'm glad you're alive.
Anyway? What do you mean, anyway? You don't sound very happy to see me. I was almost killed back there. Why didn't you try to save me? All you care about is that dead wife of yours. I've never been so scared in my whole life. You couldn't care less about me, could you?
No, I
Then
just...
stay with me. Don't ever leave me alone. You're supposed to take care of me.
All right, I think we've cooled down. Let's just go find Laura. Oh, okay, never fucking mind, holy shit. And what do you think we're rewarded with when we survive this? Because I promise you, it's not what you want. You remember how I described Lisa's death in Silent Hill 1? This is that feeling twice-fold. Again, you're not fearful roaming these hallways. There's just a gnawing emptiness, and the game just allows you to feel it. No enemies, no dread. Just grief. Okay, Mary, we're coming for you, I guess. Let's grab the key in Rosewater Park so we can get into Silent Hill Historical Society. If we can get into Toluca Prison and this horrible fucking labyrinth. It's actually in this prison where we come face to face with our phantom once again, Maria.
Aren't you Maria?
I'm not your Mary. It doesn't matter who I am. I'm here for you, James. See? I'm real.
Maria's in a Schrodinger's cat type of scenario. It's evident when you see her again. Existing between life and death almost simultaneously. The easier option for James would be to rationalize this. It's all in his mind, right? But the truth of the matter proves to be much more complicated. Much more sinister. What even is Maria?
Are you confusing me with someone else?
We don't ever get an explicit answer, and I like that. It's also in this location where we learn more of Angela, who murdered her father in self-defense. He was a sexually abusive monster, her mother complicit in all of these crimes.
I'm so tired.
And perhaps if you missed this newspaper clipping, the implicit detail would become obvious when we meet her again.
Daddy, please don't!
Yeah, this right here is Abstract Daddy. He's emblematic of Mr. Orozco, a figure so overwhelming in fear, it renders Angela completely frozen. James takes it upon himself to send Abstract Daddy back to hell.
Are you okay?
And understandably, once the creature is vanquished, Angela declares her distrust for really any man in the world.
You could just force me. Beat me up like he always did. You only care about yourself anyway. You disgusting pig.
She barks to James that he had only one thing in mind with Mary, as most men do.
I know about you. You didn't want her around anymore. You probably found someone else.
That's ridiculous. I never...
And that his heart couldn't lie. He didn't want Mary around anymore. And James has to sit with that. What if she's right? Did coming here mean anything? Is he relieved Mary's gone? He doesn't sit with that long, though. It's time to go meet Eddie, who's lost his fucking mind.
Eddie? What are you doing? What does it look like?
He confesses some jock football player was picking on him, so he shot his dog and then shot the dude in the leg. And James is pleading for his fucking life here. Put the goddamn gun down, Eddie.
Eddie, have you gone nuts? I knew it.
You too! You're just like him, James!
Hey, I didn't mean anything.
Don't bother. I understand. You've been laughing at me all along, haven't you? Ever since we first met. I'll kill you, James!
All right, fine, fuck it. Time to have the worst fight in the entire series. All right, despite how silly the fight was, James has just...
Eddie?
Murdered somebody. Self-defense or not. Reality is beginning to shatter for James. Why is he even here? He would have never killed Eddie. He would have never even come here.
Mary. Did you really die 3 years ago?
Is there any salvation we can take from this? Any divine wisdom? What did Mary even write again? Huh. It's still worth it to try and find her, I think. Has to be, right? After an exhausting rowing to the Lakeview Hotel, we once again meet with Laura.
Did I scare you?
Yeah, you did.
And she's got something for us to read and weep.
But she said it in her letter.
What letter?
Wanna read it?
It's a letter from Mary, noting the past year they've known each other, and Mary's wishes to adopt Laura once she felt good enough to leave. There's no way to disprove it either. Mary was here. She was alive.
Laura, how old are you?
I turned 8 last week.
So, Mary couldn't have died 3 years ago. Could she really be here? Is this the quiet, beautiful place she was talking about?
Me and Mary talked a lot about Silent Hill. She even showed me all her pictures. She really wanted to come back. That's why I'm here. Maybe you'll get it if you see the other letter. The one, Mary. Huh? I must have dropped it.
Laura!
I gotta find it!
Laura!
Heart pounding, James's mind begins to race. If he can just make it to room 312, maybe he'll see her. Maybe she can explain. Maybe miraculously, things are gonna get better. In the room, James is alone, and fearfully, he fumbles with the videotape he got from the hotel storage. And at the end of his rope, on his very last wish, he inserts the tape, hoping for answers. And what he sees changes
everything.
I'm stopping you right here. If you sat through this explanation, there's a chance you haven't played Silent Hill 2. And what you're about to witness changes the narrative completely. And I'd be doing you such a disservice by not at least warning you to experience this game for yourself. You only get to once. It's a 6-hour game. It's abandonware by most accounts. You can get it free anywhere. I'm serious. I'll even leave a timestamp on the screen if you want to skip this. The ending to this video game is nothing short of brilliant and heartbreaking. You owe it to yourself. All right. If you stayed, let's do this. I'll guide you through it. Sifting through the memories, watching Mary on the tiny screen, James sits through footage of his own, filming his wife and the beautiful lake beyond her. A reminder of the sunnier life he led before. Things are nice. They're peaceful. Until they're not.
James?
The tape abruptly cuts to CCTV footage. Mary lays in bed, James towering over her, his shadow engulfing her. He grabs for her pillow, her hands too weak to fight back. We already know the end, and we have no choice but to see it. James Sunderland sits in room 312, watching himself smother his wife, Mary Shepard Sunderland, to death in her bed. And eventually, her fighting stops. And she's gone. And James has done it. And there is no one to blame but James. Laura returns to the room, and James is forthcoming with his discovery. She deserves to know.
Mary's gone. She's dead.
She died because she was sick?
No. I killed her.
And she kicks him and beats him to no avail. She screams, she hates him, she tells him he's evil.
She was always waiting for you. Why? Why?
And she's right. It's all true. Before James can even parse his sin, she leaves, and he's alone again. The radio goes off one last time.
James, where are you? I'm waiting for you.
And now he understands. It was a message from Mary, begging him to find her. What left is there for us? Are we too scared? Can we face the woman we loved, the one we killed? There's no choice. This is Silent Hill. Resolution finds you, regardless of your desire. The mask fully off, we see the hotel for what it truly is. A disgusting, dilapidated, waterlogged hellhole. Clearly, it's a victim of fire damage. Scorch marks leap up the walls. The source has to be close. And we're right.
Mama, I was looking for you. Now you're the only one left. Maybe then I can rest. Mama, why are you running away? You're not my mama. It's you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Angela, no.
Or maybe you think you can save me. Will you love me? Take care of me? Heal all my pain? That's what I thought.
Angela stands atop a blazing staircase, looking down at the pathetic man in front of her. Her family members decorate the burning walls, and Angela asks for her knife back. It's pretty clear what she wants. When James refuses, Angela ascends anyways, and we hear the following interaction.
It's hot as hell in here.
You see it too. For me, it's always like this.
And she disappears into those flames. It's never confirmed, but it's very likely Angela ended her own life off screen. And when Angela explains how her experience had been personalized, tailored to her fears, it illuminates more than we realize. A chief example being that of Abstract Daddy. We experience Silent Hill through James's eyes, his trauma, his faults manifested. That creature appeared as something entirely different to Angela, something far worse. She couldn't face that alone. Speaking of facing things alone, we need to see Maria one last time to bury our past.
James! Stop! Leave her alone!
I was weak. That's why I needed you. Needed someone to punish me for my sins. But that's all over now. I know the truth. Now it's time to end this.
Once we defeat the twin pyramid heads, we are led down a near endless hallway. And if you collected the secret cassette tape on the desk in Lakeview near the purple bull key, you also get an additional cutscene where James and Mary both get the news of her terminal illness.
Mary's going to die? You must be joking.
You must be joking.
I'm very sorry.
But you're a doctor. It's your job to heal people. How can you just let her die?
Please, calm down. As her doctor, I promise I'll do what I can.
How long does she have?
I'm afraid I'm not sure. 3 years at most. Perhaps 6 months. It's impossible to say with certainty.
It gives a lot of context and gravity. No known cure, it begins to settle in the back of their minds. This all begins to cascade as James walks down, closer to what he believes to be Mary. And as he does, the following tape plays.
Mary?
What do you want, James?
I brought you some flowers.
Flowers? I don't want any damn flowers. Just go home already.
Mary, what are you saying?
Look, I'm disgusting. I don't deserve flowers. Between the disease and the drugs, I look like a monster. Well, what are you looking at? Get the hell out of here! Leave me alone already! I'm no use to anyone. I'll be dead soon anyway. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. It'd be easier if they'd just kill me. But I guess the hospital is making a nice profit off me. They want to keep me alive. Are you still here? I told you to go! Are you deaf? Don't come back! James! Wait! Please don't go! Stay with me! Don't leave me alone! I didn't mean what I said! Please, James! Tell me I'll be okay! Tell me I'm not going to die! Help me!
There is significant evidence to believe that James had murdered Mary only days prior to the events of Silent Hill 2. Laura has a physical letter from Mary, James does not. There are also records of their stay being much sooner, the videotapes in perfect condition. Hell, he even left that cassette player there. Mary's just been sick for that long. His life ended those 3 years ago. A shell of his former self, caring for a frail woman he used to know as Mary. Okay, it's time to face the music.
Mary?
When will you ever stop making that mistake?
Mary's dead. You killed her.
Maria? It's you. But I don't need you anymore.
What? You must be joking. But I can be yours. I'll be here for you forever. And I'll never yell at you or make you feel bad. That's what you wanted. I'm different than Mary. How can you throw me away?
I understand now. It's time to end this nightmare.
No! I won't let you. You deserve to die too, James.
I mean, he's right. That thing's not Mary. So for one last showdown, you shoot that nasty fucking monster down with your shotgun and slay your wife one last time. Is that too soon? That might be too soon. Look, I've written this segment of the script 10 times. I just can't put to words what happens next. If you've enjoyed the best moments of this game enhanced just that much more by the passionate, if not cheesy, voice acting,
Anyway! What do you mean, anyway?
you need to hear Mary's letter, which are read in the last few moments of the game.
Mary?
James. Please. Please do something for me. Go on with your life. In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday, but you never did. Well, I'm alone there now, in our special place, waiting for you to come to see me. But you never do. And so I wait, wrapped in my cocoon of pain and loneliness. I know I've done a terrible thing to you, something you'll never forgive me for. I wish I could change that, but I can't. I feel so pathetic and ugly laying here, waiting for you. Every day I stare up at the cracks in the ceiling, and all I can think about is how unfair it all is. The doctor came today. He told me I could go home for a short stay. It's not that I'm getting better. It's just that this may be my last chance. I think you know what I mean. Even so, I'm glad to be coming home. I've missed you terribly, but I'm afraid, James. I'm afraid you don't really want me to come home. Whenever you come see me, I can tell how hard it is on you. I don't know if you hate me or pity me, or maybe I just disgust you. I'm sorry about that. When I first learned that I was going to die, I just didn't want to accept it. I was so angry all the time, and I struck out at everyone I loved most.
Leave me alone already.
Especially you, James. That's why I understand if you do hate me. But I want you to know this, James. I'll always love you, even though our life together had to end like this. I still wouldn't trade it for the world. We had some wonderful years together. Well, this letter has gone on too long, so I'll say goodbye. I told the nurse to give this to you after I'm gone. That means that as you read this, I'm already dead. I can't tell you to remember me, but I can't bear for you to forget me. These last few years since I became ill, I am so sorry for what I did to you, did to us. You've given me so much, and I haven't been able to return a single thing. That's why I want you to live for yourself now. Do what's best for you, James. James, you made me happy.
Yeah, it looked like that too. So I chose the leave ending for this video. I felt like breaking a cycle and learning to grieve was the best possible outcome for James. I found it fitting and appropriate to his character. And look, I'm explaining myself because there's not actually any canonical ending. According to the document titled Lost Memories, Silent Hill Chronicle, they state the following.
Of the 4 conclusions, there is no one correct interpretation. Each ending indicates a different possibility.
So Silent Hill 2 lives in a nebulous canon, and I believe them. This document had massive staff contributions and was extremely in-depth for its time, and I think the staff of Silent Hill know a
Little more about fighting than you do, pal, because he invented it.
Anyways, Schrodinger's wife, if you will. And I think that's perfectly apt for its tone. A gray area of information. A miasma of what could have been. Unless, of course, you count the dog ending, because that one explains itself pretty well. Yeah, so Silent Hill is not actually based on Centralia, Pennsylvania, despite popular belief. The fog was merely a facade to hide the limitation of the hardware, which was just a happy accident that defined a franchise. Though, speaking of Northeast US, Silent Hill actually does have a definitive location. The state of Maine. Yeah, they kind of had it up in the air for the first game, but by SH2, they were like, alright, let's plop it in the most haunted place in the world, New England. Born from a Wish is a supplementary story provided by the special edition of Silent Hill 2, which tells the story of Maria, moments before she and James meet. And, it starts off pretty strong.
Do I fight and live? Or do those monsters get me? I don't have any reason to go on living.
Quite the first impression. I mean, these games don't fuck around. And when she decides it's just not worth it, she wanders the city until she happens upon a mansion. Ernest Baldwin, the man on the other side, bars her entry until she completes a series of tasks for him. They have a few conversations. One a warning against James, claiming him as a bad man. And the woman he's looking for is a...
He's looking for the you that isn't you.
And once she does do these tasks and opens the door, she finds the house completely empty. Nobody's home. Once again, she lifts her gun and still is strong enough to seek James. Perhaps he'd be her respite. Perhaps he'd be her home.
James.
No, you're not.
Do I look like your girlfriend? My name is Maria.
It's the year 2000, 17 years after the events of Silent Hill. And Heather is having the worst nightmare of maybe all fucking time.
Bag up, bag up. What in reverse, Terry?
You're dodging and weaving through like 6 different monster species. It's the most action-packed introduction to an SH game. And if you even had a second to pause and catch your breath, you might actually recognize the locale. It's the Lakeside Amusement Park from the first game. Huh, I wonder what the implications of that might be.
What a nightmare.
I'll be honest, I probably would have the same dream if I fell asleep at a Burger King in the mall. Anyways, Heather collects herself and decides to head home. As she's making a call to her father, she's accosted by a pretty strange figure.
Okay, I will. I love you too, Dad.
That of Douglas Cartland, a private investigator.
A detective? Really? Well, nice talking to you.
Now, Douglas mentions that he has news about Heather's birth, but he's not being forthcoming with the information. And Heather is no pushover. State your business or get kicked in the dick.
Are you still following me? Do I have to scream?
Sorry. I'll wait here.
So she takes the back streets into the mall to try to avoid him, and it looks like she's gonna get away scot-free until... Yeah, a fucking monster. Okay, I guess the mall is infested. I better grab that handgun and get to work.
Get the hell away from me!
And while Heather is navigating through the fucking back rooms, she encounters a rather strange figure, Claudia Wolf, High Priestess of the Order.
I am Claudia.
So what?
Remember me, and your true self as well. Also, that which you must become. The one who will lead us to paradise with blood-stained hands.
She's fucking barefoot in the service hallway. There is no way this bitch is good news. Honestly, don't fucking listen to her, Heather. She's so full of shit. There is no way this situation gets worse. Never mind. Sorry. The Otherworld Mall is an absolute shit show. It's haunting, it's horrifying, it's harrowing. But beyond all odds, Heather survives and once again surfaces in reality. She gets a good idea. She should probably take the subway home as a Hail Mary to get the fuck out of Dodge. But before she can make it, she once again runs into Douglas in the mall lobby.
You must be one of them!
What did I do? And what do you mean by one of them?
The two butt heads again, and Heather susses out that Douglas must be with Claudia. But that was the extent of the deal. He had no clue that a woman like Claudia Wolf might not be up to any good. And honestly, Heather's justifiably pissed.
Maybe you're just an innocent bystander, but I can't feel sorry for you because you dragged me into this.
You know what? Let's just get the fuck out of here, man.
What should I do?
Hell if I know.
I'm sure I don't have to explain to you that the subway also, fucking sucks right now. It's a long trip, and atmospherically, it's kind of one of my favorite locations. Once Heather disembarks the metro, she comes across an unnamed construction site leading to the Hilltop Center. And if you thought we were in the back rooms before, wait till you see this shit. It's here in a stuffy office hellhole where Heather meets somebody new, Vincent Smith.
The name's Vincent. Don't forget it, okay?
Who's just chilling in here. Like, damn, bitch, you live like this? Heather once again clocks a stranger as a complete red flag and tells him to fuck off.
Don't talk about my dad like that!
Sorry. I apologize. Please, calm down.
There's something wrong with you too.
Besides, a better usage of our time right now would be to recite a fairy tale to obliterate Glutton. This is Glutton, by the way. Whew, alright, back to the real world. Yeah, and Heather doesn't waste any time. The moment she sees she's in the clear, she makes a break for the Daisy Villa apartments. And as she clicks open her apartment door, hoping to see her father, her wish is granted, in the worst fashion possible.
Dad, I'm home. Listen, something really crazy's going on. I think we should... Dad? Dad?
No!
This clearly is a horrible tragedy, and it strikes a deep question. Why would her father be a target for murder? What role did he and his death play into this grand scheme? Both we and Heather find our answers at the end of a bloody trail. Atop the apartment complex, in the inky black night, stands Claudia Wolf.
Did you do this?
You're late.
But why? Why?
It must be this way. One day you'll understand why.
No, I'll never understand!
You must try to remember me, and your true self as well. You will birth a god and build an eternal paradise.
Birth a god? Wait a second. Is Heather Cheryl? Was her father Harry Mason? We don't even get time to think about this. It's time to fight the missionary.
I'll be waiting where all begins. In the town of Silent Hill.
In the back of your mind, while you pump this dude full of fucking lead, reality is starting to cascade at your feet. And everything's fitting together. Harry clearly took Cheryl in, housed her, fed her, and protected her. He went as far to change her alias, relocated her, and evaded the cult for 17 years. All so she could live a happy, normal life, oblivious to her grand circumstance. And 'twas no easy task. Harry held that shit down till his very end. Kinda king shit. Douglas also shows up again and offers to lay Harry to rest and to drive Heather to Silent Hill. They have a back and forth about the situation as a whole. Douglas is trying his absolute best to keep Heather on the straight and narrow.
When I find her, I'll kill her myself.
Revenge doesn't solve anything.
Maybe not, but that's what I'm going to do.
Harry's all Heather had left. I don't exactly blame her, but Douglas does hold a good point. He also holds something else. A map of the town and a gift from Vincent.
I just met some guy named Vincent.
Icky, you. Douglas relays a message from him saying to look for Leonard Wolf, Claudia's father. And to cap it all off, a final gift, a notebook from Harry.
Now, 17 years have passed. It feels like only yesterday, and again, it feels like a million years ago. I confess, I had reservations at first about raising the baby. Could I love her? Her existence was thoroughly unexplainable. I thought she could be the young woman who snatched away my daughter. That led to sadness, anger. There were times when I put my hands around her tiny little throat. Several times I even considered abandoning her. That's what a terrible person I am. But I decided to raise her after all. I just couldn't seem to let her go. When you look at me, you laugh. So even now, I can't forget about that girl. But I love you. I have no doubts about that. That's all I ask you to believe. To my precious daughter, Harry Mason.
Yeah, the contents of the note are banal. And it's Silent Hill that I would trust to handle the subject so articulately. Harry's not infallible, and nowhere near the man we idolized him to be. The impossible burden of raising the incarnation of your daughter while being saddled by unknowable evil, it would drive a man to madness. And Harry clearly seemed to be at the precipice more than once. The source of your joy and your unending pain lying just a room over, sleeping soundly. It's hard to stomach, but it's extremely profound, and that's kind of what I love about the series. So, Heather gets one last chance to see her father for who he was and say her goodbyes. Then, it's back to Silent Hill, Maine. Huh. Man, even the map is the same. I just played SH2, so this was already nostalgic for me. Speaking of SH2, you'd have no clue it happened here. A lot of the vacancy reinforces the nebulous nature of its ending. Did anything even happen here? Is anyone around? It's near impossible to tell, and really the only hints you would get require you to have an SH2 save on your PS2. Like this poster in Heaven's Night that likely refers to Maria. That's kind of all you get. Also, if you remember Brookhaven Hospital from 2, then this likely looks familiar. It's here where Leonard Woolf is situated, in a cesspool of mangled nurses and labyrinthine hallways. Again, pretty familiar. These are left by Stanley Coleman, a patient who's becoming increasingly obsessed with Heather. And if you inspect the doll before and after reading the note, yeah, I agree. While trudging through the hospital, Heather starts to get glimpses of her past as Alessa. For instance, the fire that burned her alive at the age of 7, and the hospital bed where the cult operated on her from. Eventually, Heather gets a call from Leonard. Mistaking her for a cult member, he lets slip that he wants to kill his own daughter.
I was going to forgive her if she changed her ways, but I see it's too late.
And when Heather explains that she's just Heather Mason and she's gonna be the one to do it, he,
I think I can be of help to you. I have a seal. Please.
A seal?
Anyway, nightmare mode once again. And Heather heads down to the sewer to find none other than Leonard Woolf.
Leonard? Is that you?
Death to all who turn their backs on God!
Is every person here a mental case?
I think this fight's kind of funny, actually. I love the way he flies up when you shoot him. Anyways, Heather acquires the Seal of Metatron from Leonard, a talisman of the real-life angel of Hebrew mythology. And it was given its name due to its extreme difficulty to control, so keep that in mind when you see it again. And while Heather's doing all this, Vincent and Claudia are just in her hotel room bitching to each other.
What you call faith is nothing more than a child crying out for love. That's why you're all alone.
And after that spat's over, Vincent waits to surprise Heather. And he tells her that Douglas left a message stating the church is on the other side of the lake. Also, he's the father of the fucking cult, and he sees a different path for the chapter. So anyways, Claudia's at the church right now if you want to go kick her ass. Great, thanks, I'm going. Remember, if she's gonna do that, she's gonna have to go through Lakewood Amusement Park. And remembering the nightmare from the beginning, that's not gonna be fun. Learning from past conviction though, she is able to leap out of the way this time, and thank God she does. There's work to be done. we find that Claudia is once again arguing, her fucking favorite thing to do. This time, it's with Douglas, who's fighting for Heather's freedom. Claudia's not having that. God needs to be reborn to bring paradise to Earth. And Douglas argues that a world without strife is far from a paradise. It's more like limbo.
No this, no that, no nothing. A paradise? For castrated sheep, maybe. Sounds pretty boring.
And Claudia, through gritted teeth, spits that she pities his insolence. And Douglas just pulls out the fucking blicky. What happens immediately after? Nobody knows. We do see the aftermath, and it sucks. Douglas's leg is snapped thanks to Claudia's mind powers, and now he can't accompany Heather. Which is like no sweat off our backs. We'll just come back for you, dude. Besides, we want to visit the amusement park anyways, so it's whatever.
You don't have to feel responsible. I know it's not your fault.
Also, the amusement park itself is extremely charming. I love it. Heather enters a haunted house tour, and this like whole shtick, I don't know, like I enjoy this a lot.
You know why he said he killed his family? Because I felt I had to. Anyway, I'm lying. It's all just a joke. I wanted to scare you, that's all. The truth is, only one person died. By suicide.
This sets her up for the fucking Indiana Jones run she has to take out of the place. Yeah, the hotel threatens to kill you. It's either run for your life or die by the color red. Eventually, the wandering through the park is cut short by the realization of where we are. Precisely where Harry Mason once stood those 17 years ago. Completely untouched by time. I mean, to even confirm that, there's notes left by Harry that still remain. Man, this feels so much like Silent Hill 1. I think the only thing missing is like a fight on the carousel. Oh. Oh. Hey, remember that moment in the mirror? Looks kind of familiar, right? Say hello to the memory of Alessa, the incarnation of her inner self, burdened by the birth of God, the weight of the order, and the last in line to the Holy Mother. Alessa is so desperate to obliterate God, she will do whatever it takes, even if it means eliminating herself. Eliminating Heather Mason. Okay, now say goodbye to the memory of Alessa. It was a nice try. It's alright, sweetie. We're on the same team. Sorry. And you know what? To honor Alessa, let's go kick the shit out of the worst friend she ever had. Claudia.
How did you get here?
Heather chews Claudia the fuck out.
Listen, suffering is a fact of life. Either you learn how to deal with that or you go under. You can stay in your own little dream world, but you can't keep hurting other people. Besides, I'll never forgive you for hurting my father.
She's the only one who could know how Alessa's feeling, and she says she's perfectly fine with how the world is.
I don't need another world. It's fine the way it is.
I mean, according to Heather. And Claudia's riposte to this actually does kind of go hard. This is a pretty memorable line.
Happy people can be so cruel. Is it so hard to believe that sympathy could be born out of pain and suffering?
But Heather remains steadfast. Suffering is human, and it's an intrinsic fact inseparable from reality. For there to be pleasure, there must exist pain. Speaking of pain, by the way.
You self-righteous witch! No one asked you to help!
It's growing within you.
Alright, so with Claudia gone, Heather's got no choice but to push further into the church. Where, again, she finds Vincent. And the two share a few words about their predicament. And then he just drops this bombshell.
Monsters? They look like monsters to you? Don't worry. It's just a joke.
All right, quit fucking with us, Vincent. Does the Seal of Metatron actually do anything?
Yes, that's it. As long as we have that, we're fine.
Okay, he seems convinced. I'm feeling pretty good. When we find Claudia again, she's fucking fed up with this shit show. It's actually bringing her closer to paradise with all that hate and whatnot.
You mock God? Traitor. You will go to hell.
Not that again!
But once again, Heather throws another perfect line right in her face.
Shut your stinking mouth, bitch!
Damn. And you know what? It feels good to see there's some people in the world who get it.
Heather, go ahead and kill this crazy bitch.
You'll go to hell!
And Vincent cuts in, hardly breathing, to say she should use the seal. This shit is gonna kick her ass.
You're pathetic.
This shit definitely did not kick her ass.
But God loves even you.
Sorry, Vincent. Heather's pissed. Like really pissed.
Just accepted a lesser.
When she can get it back together, you're prompted with either fighting Claudia or pilfering through your inventory. The keen-eyed will remember seeing a pendant from the start of the game, a gift from Harry. Inside this capsule is a Glaufitus. You remember that stuff?
A Glaufitus! I thought I got rid of that!
Oh wait, how is this gonna exorcise God if it's inside of her?
What are you doing? She is nearly here. Alessa, what have you done? What did you swallow?
Oh, ew. Not only does she puke it out, she goes to stomp on it.
Stop! God is... Claudia!
No, Claudia, do not eat that. Don't you fucking dare. That's the most... Ew! God damn it. So now Claudia's corpse is the host of God.
This is God?
Which has taken on the form of a skeletal Alessa. It's fucking haunting, man. Fuck. Also, this little gremlin who grabbed her earlier, that's Valtiel. He's an angel of the order and a servant to whatever the fuck this is. And now I guess there's no other choice. Let's kick some divine ass. Honestly, pretty easy fight if you know where to stand. Few shotgun slugs to the dome and... jackpot! And barely making it out alive, Heather finally has a moment alone. And in that moment, it finally settles. Like lead in her chest, the grief washes over her.
Dad! Dad!
Eventually, time passes and Heather shambles her way to the park. And something's off. Douglas growing more and more nervous as she approaches. And as she lifts her blade, ready to plunge it into the detective,
You're still alive.
Just a joke.
Joke's on you, motherfucker. All right, you got me. That's why you're the best, Heather.
You don't have to call me that. I'm not hiding anymore.
Or should I say Cheryl? Yeah.
Cheryl.
Cheryl's nice. And once again proving why she's the best Silent Hill protagonist. When asked if she's gonna change her hair back, she answers,
I don't know. Don't you think blondes have more fun?
and here we are. The final moments of Silent Hill 3, with Cheryl making peace with her past and saying her goodbyes to her father, Harry. From this day forward, Cheryl Mason is a free woman, and Silent Hill sleeps once again. At the time, Silent Hill 2 was criticized online for not focusing on Alessa Gillespie and its differing art style. As a result, Team Silent decided not to move forward with their original plans for Silent Hill 3. Instead, they chose to conclude the Alessa storyline from the original Silent Hill and tie up some loose ends to appease fans. Not every member of Team Silent agreed with the decision, though Akihiro Imamura noted that they also did not want to use a similar template for 2 games in a row. In Brookhaven Hospital, there's a note that is an allusion to Silent Hill 4, specifically mentioning the Wish House and the concrete prison. There's also a guy on the end of a phone in Silent Hill 3 that congratulates Heather on her 17th, 24th, and 31st birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Cheryl was 7 at the time of Silent Hill, with Alessa at 14, so this corresponds directly to the ages they would have been in the year 2000. So technically, Heather is all 3 of these ages. Walter Sullivan believes that room 302 is his mother. It's 2001, and on a fair morning in South Ashfield, just a half-day's drive away from Silent Hill, people are caught in the hustle and bustle of the small city, quietly humming to the beat of their own drum. It's a tough place, but in spite of it all, folks are able to find their way, carving a path through life. Life's pretty simple in South Ashfield, unless, of course, you're Henry Townsend. Completely shut in, Henry has become entombed by his apartment, to no fault of his own. No matter how much he screams and pleads to be freed, his cries fall upon deaf ears. Henry is alone. But not forgotten. Eileen Galvin, his next-door neighbor, seems worried. She hasn't seen hide nor tail of Henry for a while now. And when she's able to rouse the superintendent, Frank Sunderland, they both investigate room 302 together, all while Henry watches helplessly. He's not out of the loop entirely, though. Room 302, as expected by now, is not an ordinary one. It's fucking haunted. Like, actually haunted. The walls of the buildings are permeable and nebulous. Things change all the time. For instance, a manifested peephole directly into Eileen's room. Henry's not exactly a pervert, he's just a guy, with Eileen being his only lifeline, so naturally he's desperate to reach out. Once again, deaf ears, but he learns from watching her that she's just killing time before she heads to a party. Also, hey Robbie, it's good to see you again. The strangeness has only begun, because after a week in captivity, Henry discovers a gaping hole in his bathroom wall.
What the hell?
Seeing as it's his only way out, he ventures in. And while he surfaces from this shit tunnel, he arrives in an unintended destination, a derelict subway station.
What the hell?
Where which he meets
Who are you?
Cynthia Velasquez. she's honestly just having fun with it all because she's pretty convinced she's dreaming. And maybe that's why she feels like she can say this to Harry unprompted.
Say, will you help me find it? I'm kinda scared all alone. I'll do a special favor for you later.
Don't you even think about that shit, Henry. This shitstorm has only just begun.
I think I drank too much last night. I never got to do that special favor for you. I feel like I'm dying.
It's okay. It's just a dream.
Henry wakes up in his own bed after the events and confirms that Cynthia is a goner. These strings of attacks do not cease, and eventually it claims the lives of Jasper Gain, Andrew DeSalvo, and Richard Braintree. Jasper is found at the Wish House, featured in an article by Joseph Schreiber, the previous tenant of Room 302 during the events of Silent Hill 3. For those eagle-eyed viewers, you'd know this is bad news. It fronts as an orphanage with this concrete prison everyone talks about. And that place. Jasper also mentions Nakihona, the Spirit Stone.
Nakihona.
And he's got a t-shirt of the Incubus from SH1. Dude, I want that shit. Where'd you get that? Oh shit, I'll come back later. It's fine. So it's pretty clear Henry's knee-deep in someone's master plan. Everyone who's been slain has these numbers writ upon them, and their hearts have been removed. It's matching up a little too well to a string of murders committed a few years prior by somebody pretty infamous. You might be asking, who? Walter Sullivan. A man born in the bathtub of Room 302, abandoned by parents who wished nothing to do with him. He was found by Frank Sunderland and surrendered to the medics where he would grow up orphaned. He found the Wish House within the forests of Silent Hill and was inducted into the order. As he grew within the cult, Walter decided that he would awaken Room 302, his mother, once more. And he'd do it through the ritual of the
21 Sacraments.
This would see him responsible for 10 murders, 2 of which we actually heard about in Silent Hill 2. The case of Billy and Miriam Locane. Apart from Walter's tribulations, Frank felt compelled to hold on to Walter's umbilical cord.
The umbilical cord I keep in a box in my room.
He mentions not being able to let that moment go, to the idea of this being a trauma response for Frank. Recently, it's begun to rot, and in Silent Hill logic, that can really only mean one thing. Despite his death in prison years prior, Walter walks the earth once more, and there is hell to pay. Henry's getting wise to the fact that the worlds he's been visiting are in fact other worlds. Multiple, and they're all conjured from Walter's subconscious. He performed the ritual, the Holy Assumption, which allowed himself to be his 11th victim, and now he haunts worlds alongside a child version of himself. Stay with me, okay? Stay with me. Cynthia, Jasper, Andrew, and Richard are now the 16th through the 19th. And if there's only 21 murders needed, who's going to be his 20th? Fuck. Okay, don't worry, Eileen. We're gonna save you, okay? Just don't worry.
I can't. Thanks.
Luckily, Eileen seems to get along really well with baby Walter. In fact, he saved her life from other Walter. This would make her the first victim to get away, but not at a small cost. She's now branded for life by her would-be killer, constantly reminding her of her near-death experience. And just like that, Henry wakes up again in his own home. Ambulance sirens fill the air, and a new game mechanic actually is revealed. Hauntings. Your apartment is just kind of low-key haunted, and it hurts to look at it. Oof, ow, ooh, ooh. And you gotta clear these things if you want to get the good ending. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. Anyways, Henry and Eileen finally get to team up. He tries taking her through the hole to get back to his apartment, but she's quick to point out she can't see that.
And I didn't see any hole either. You just disappeared all of a sudden.
Oh fuck, every hole is personalized? The last dude to mess around with any of this was Joseph Schreiber, and he's slowly drip-feeding Henry notes on how to deal with all this. Joe is in too deep and fell victim to the schemes, but he could at least help the next guy break the cycle. And how are we gonna do that? Oh, well, by, quote, going down into the deepest part of him and look for the ultimate truth. Of course, it's so simple. All right, Eileen, let's get you out of this stuffy hospital. I'm so sorry. You don't deserve this.
I'm scared.
Really, nothing pains me more than seeing her in this state. I'm just really sorry for peeping in on... What the fuck? This shit made my blood run cold when I first saw it. It's fucking scary, man. To make matters worse, Eileen does not see this. Once again, this is personal to Henry. You feeling a little guilty, pal? Speaking of guilt, remember how he failed to save literally anybody? Yeah, so does Cynthia. She's not the only one either. Every victim now haunts their respective world as a ghost, and ghosts in Silent Hill fucking suck to deal with. Anyways, cheat the one of the few bosses in the game, and we finally get to see Joseph's memory of 302. And we actually meet the man himself, sorta. I mean, I think this is just like a simulacrum, a manifest of all his memories.
You've done well to make it this far.
Fucking scary regardless. We're not actually through with the haunting imagery, because Joe tells Henry that he and Eileen are 20 and 21 respectively.
The mother will be born. Eileen Galvin. Number 21. The receiver of wisdom. Henry Townsend.
The only way this is going to end is going to be with the killing of Walter. Joe tells him to grab the pickaxe of hope and get to mining his own apartment. And what he finds, I'm just going to show you. I don't really think any words are going to do this justice. Yeah. Jesus. Henry grabs the keys from his pocket and finally frees himself from 302. Only to find the entire complex looks fucking awful.
No way. Not here, too.
Eileen agrees, waiting for Henry just around the bend, and they reunite, vowing to put an end to this. Henry takes a detour to purify Walter's hanging corpses for a moment and go check out his umbilical cord. And it gives him like the worst migraine of all time. Also, Eileen is starting to feel some guilt. You know, baby Walter saved her life. It's only fair that she return that favor. So she tells Henry to go on ahead.
We're the only ones. The only ones that can stop him.
You know what? We should probably check on Walter's fucking corpse in our room. I don't want anyone finding that. And it's gone. It's gone. Fucking awesome. I bet he's in that gigantic hole down there. You know, this scene would be like breathtaking if I weren't scared shitless. Okay, here we are, the finale. And to put things simply here, Walter has possessed Eileen. She's about to walk into this thing unless we stab the spears of Longinus into this bad boy. But we can't exactly do that, not before we give the conjurer a little gift in the form of, yeah, you guessed it, the umbilical cord. This would be easy street if that's all that was going on, but Walter is able to just fucking teleport at will. And you're just gonna have to eat these bullets more often than not because his backhand is fucking insane. Anyways, with the conjurer down, it's time to beat the brakes off this little freak, and pow!
Eileen?
Thanks. Aww. Guess I'll have to find a new place to live, huh?
What about mine?
What about my house?
If you remember this guy from the beginning, this is Jimmy Stone. He was an executioner for the sect of Valtiel, and was also Walter's first ever victim. I hear he was a dick anyways, but I mean, his name was literally the Red Devil. That newspaper article from Silent Hill mentions both Walter and Jimmy, foreshadowing the consequences of their actions in SH4. George Roston was Jimmy's right-hand man and implanted Valtiel into Walter's subconscious at an extremely young age. And apparently Valtiel influenced Walter to commence the 21 Sacraments. But it was absolutely not how they envisioned this. Before they could quash it, Walter had made a list and checked it twice. Sayonara, motherfuckers. Also, the infamous twin victims, arguably one of the most horrific SH monsters, is actually Miriam and Billy Locane, Walter's victims mentioned in the same letter. They're the few that did not manifest as ghosts and instead fused and cursed to roam the earth as this horrific creature. Konami had also released an external material for Silent Hill 4, The Room, titled Another Crimson Tome. It's written from an in-universe perspective and elaborates on the game's mythology. It explains a lot about Walter and the context behind the selection of his victims. Each selected was a person in Walter's past. And one passage that truly broke my heart was hearing how he met Eileen. He was a homeless 16-year-old kid panhandling in Ashfield when he was approached by a 5-year-old Eileen. The only thing she had to offer was a woven doll, and carefully he accepted it before her parents scolded her and absconded her. For a total of 18 years alive and dead, he held onto this doll as his most treasured possession before offering it to Henry for comfort.
Here. I'll give it to you.
So, Silent Hill 1 through 4 was developed by a team known as Team Silent, created by Kirichiro Toyama. This crack team of people created some of the greatest Silent Hill games we know. Some notable members include Hiroyuki Owaku, Akira Yamaoka, and Masahiro Ito. The 4 mainline games, Origins, Homecoming, Shattered Memories, and Downpour, were developed by other mostly Western developers. Okay, now with Team Silent's run said and done, one could arguably say you've experienced Silent Hill for what it was meant to offer. I see the rest of the games and comics as supplementary material to a greater whole. I specifically put them later despite their chronology because the games hit just that much harder if you're a fan, or at least aware of the legacy. Sometimes they hit worse, but that's beside the point.
Sweetie, is that you?
People have been arguing for over a decade of what's considered canon, and I think it's a giant can of worms and extremely subjective. It's really going to be what you've decided Silent Hill is about. So to save you the days of digging through Reddit threads and interviews, I'll just break it to you like this. 1 through 4, definitive Silent Hill experience. If you decided to call it quits, honestly, perfectly fine. You've experienced Silent Hill. But, a counteroffer. I think these next games are worth at least learning about. Listen, if you become a fan during the course of the video, or you're a stereotypical lifelong fan plays game for the first time kind of bloke, you owe it to yourself to at least see these. But even if you don't, it's fun. They're what-ifs and interesting peeks into other possibilities. At least from a gameplay perspective, it's more of what you like, and hopefully less of what you don't? Alright, enough blabbing. We're gonna get back to the very, very beginning with our one and only comic of this video. Silent Hill Past Life. It's 1918, and Jebediah Foster's days as the Hell Rider are over. Done with his days in Dakota Territory, he has decided to move in with his mistress and settle down in quiet Silent Hill. On his way there, he meets with the mayor of the town, Howard Blackwood. He tries to warn them that this is no ordinary town. Spooky shit happens here, man. But these old fucks can't really get past the fact that a black man in 1867 is not only free, he is the active governing force of this town. And we really don't stop there with the historic racism, because Jebediah had killed the daughter of Enola, a Cherokee woman. And Esther, his wife, finds her in their own home and still takes her in. Jeb's pissed. He can't go around causing trouble anymore. Besides, Esther's pregnant. And Enola knows that. She always did. And when she finally goes into labor, she realizes something truly awful. A figure in her reoccurring nightmares is Awanita, Enola's daughter. And as she's giving birth to her own child, Awanita fuses her soul with that of hers. And Jeb has a horrible flashback. He remembers killing Enola's child. And when Awanita is reborn, Jeb tells Enola to take her and just leave. And he kneels at the side of his deceased lover. As the house burns to the ground, Enola and Howard share a conversation. Finally meeting Awanita and watching the fire rise, Enola remarks that the hills are no longer silent. They've only just begun. It's 1976, and the seasoned crossroad trucker Travis Grady is running late, delivering a freighter to Brahms, Maine. He can make up for lost time should he cut through Silent Hill, the neighboring town, and this plan would see him arrive on time, if not for, you guessed it, a figure in the road. He tracks down this mysterious phantom reminiscent of a young girl, and this ghostly figure would lead him to a lone cabin engulfed in flames. And Travis is a fucking hero because he wastes almost no time getting in there to save people. I say almost because there's this old crone you might already recognize from earlier, and she disappears Mulholland Drive style behind the corner. From this inferno, Travis pulls out the charred body of one Alessa Gillespie. Clearly she has been selected as a sacrifice by the Order due to the, this. You can see it. And even stranger, she's still alive. Shit's getting funky already. All of this spins in Travis's head as his adrenaline fades and he passes out.
Everyone.
Man, waking up in Silent Hill has to fucking suck, which is why I pity Travis. He seems to be hung over on a bench in the city. The only thing on his mind is Alessa, a pretty selfless dude. But that line would lead him down to the Alchemilla Hospital. And on his way there, it's Dr. Kaufman, the dude from the first game. He stonewalls Grady at pretty much every opportunity.
I'm sorry, perhaps someone in reception could help you. I have urgent business to attend to. Goodbye.
Got it, dude. Let's just fucking get inside, alright?
You okay?
God damn it, never mind. Anyway, Travis eventually makes his way to a large, funky mirror, where once walking into it, he sees the phantom of the little girl again. And surprise, surprise, we're in the other world. Nice. It's these larks in the hell world where Travis finds an incomplete version of the Flowros. And we know damn well what that thing can do by this point, but to Travis, that's all mumbo-jumbo. Our only hope is that he doesn't treat it lightly, and that he uses this for strictly selfless he's already out. Okay, cool. To be fair, Travis is one of the more rational protagonists. He considers all of his time in the other world to just be nightmares and nothing more. And perhaps they are, but he's very likely going through it. It's something he withholds from Lisa Garland when they meet each other in the hospital lobby.
My name is Lisa. I'm a trainee here. Are you waiting for someone?
No.
And yes, you heard me right. Lisa Garland has returned to the series. They kind of flirt around with each other and then immediately fuck off to do their own things.
I want you. You're all I think about.
And that's where we run into Dahlia again.
You were at the fire. I saw you there.
Of course you did.
She gives Travis the runaround when he asks her questions, and it's stuff we already know as a learned individual. Alessa was the subject of a ritual, shit exploded, and Alessa burnt to a crisp. Yeah, that sucks. That's horrible. You know what else sucks? Travis having to fight his own fucking mother.
Mama? Daddy said you were dead.
You heard me, right? She was sent to a mental institution in a sanitarium for attempting to murder her own son. And wishing to see him again, Travis now has to fight the manifestation of her in his own psyche. Grim stuff. It's not the only grim thing, because once he beats her, Travis travels to the room of 500 to find his own father, hanging.
Time you faced up to what happened. Your mother and I will see you in heaven, son.
And once he defeats him, he gets another shard of the Flowros.
Your thing for you.
And when Alessa shows up again, he fucking crashes out on her. But, sleepy time. Again. Eventually, he does awaken in the basement, with the centerpiece intact. And finally, he's able to combine the artifact and complete it once again. What are the ramifications of this? Well, for one, Dahlia's fucking pissed.
You broke the spell. Now, she is free.
I just want to end this.
But also, they're in the middle of nowhere, which, if you can recall, fucking sucks. Anyways, Alessa's about to go apeshit, and Travis needs to get out now. So, assumably with Alessa's map, he's able to escape the Green Lion antique shop, and it's here where he finds members of the Order, trying to use burned Alessa for the ritual. You know, again. And it's sleepy time for Travis. You know, again. And in this dream, he fights Alessa's dream, the entity that resides within the Flowros. And after it's beaten its ass, bam, boom, bow, he splits Alessa's soul in twain, giving the world Cheryl Mason. In the good ending, Travis is back in the real world, left on his lonesome on the highway. Until Travis is reunited with his freighter and hops in. In his rear view, he sees Alessa, swaddling a child. And with a twinkle in his eyes, he leaves the two and Silent Hill as a whole in the past. So, this would all culminate with Harry Mason and his wife Jody finding a child lying in a casket, which, according to the wiki, this would make this count as the canon ending. And you know, if this were like the MCU, you'd get one of these bad boys. Okay, so some context for Silent Hill Homecoming. The movie had just come out in 2006, a year prior, so everybody was looking for more Pyramid Head, more nurses, where's Alessa? Like, all of this became kind of a pop culture explosion. Anyways, it's 2007, and more people are disappearing in Shepherd's Glen. Alex Shepherd's having several nightmares about his younger brother Josh. The latest one haunting him in the cab of a truck driven by the one and only Travis Grady.
Good luck, soldier. Thanks.
Saying his goodbyes and entering the town, Alex finds Elle Holloway, his childhood friend, has gone missing. Something is obviously fucked up about Shepherd's Glen. I mean, the iconic fog's here, so it's gotta be the other world.
This town's so quiet. It's changed.
Yes. Not for the better, I'm afraid.
And this would prove to be true. Mayor Bartlett and Dr. Fitch are slain by the creatures that inhabit it. And oddly enough, both of their children were missing. So, seeing how we're up Schitt's Creek with no paddle, he joins forces with Deputy Wheeler. And together, they unravel the history of Alex's father, Adam Shepherd, who was knee-deep in the conspiracy of the Glen, and fled the town in hopes of solving an immense problem. Well, damn, I mean, we should go home and get our mother, Alex. What do you say? God damn it. Look, eventually Alex does meet up with Elle, who is not dead.
Hey, your mom told me I might see you around here.
Oh my god, it's so good to see you. It feels like it's been forever.
And they both take a boat with Wheeler across Toluca Lake. Of course, the Order shows up and meddles with plans and kidnaps Elle and Wheeler. So Alex has to fuck off to Silent Hill Penitentiary to save them, where he finds his own mother and has to decide of whether or not he is going to kill her out of mercy.
Make it stop.
Mom, I can't.
Please, Alex. Please.
Fuck. Look, I'm gonna try and condense the apex of this plot in a succinct way. I just beg that you hold on for me, okay?
Judge Holloway.
Alex!
So Alex saves Elle's mother, Judge Holloway, and finds the Church of the Order. He eavesdrops on his father's confessional, guilty of the mistreatment of his children. And later he runs into him, who informs Alex he was never actually in the military. In fact, he's in a hospital right now and has been since an accident. Okay, bye, Dad. Judge Holloway lets Alex know that Shepherd's Glen's founding families were part of the Order. To move from Silent Hill to the Glen, they needed to sacrifice children once every 50 years, and this clearly worked for all 4 families involved, except for the Shepherd family. Specifically, Alex. Anyways, time to die.
I finished what your father couldn't.
In a flashback, we learn that Alex was actually meant to have his father's ring, though it was given to Josh, his younger brother. In a fit of jealousy, they fought over it, which ended in Alex drowning Josh. His dad wasn't even that fucking upset. He was more mad knowing that the wrong son died. This broke the pact of the Order, and Alex comes too, only for him to find out that he must now fight the manifestation of Josh. And once he defeats it, he finally has the chance to apologize and grieve his loss. To make things right, he leaves the ring where it belongs, with his brother. The most likely canonical ending to Homecoming is that Alex has killed his mother in mercy and forgiven his father at his final moments. And with that said and done, both he and Elle escape Silent Hill. Alright, time for Downpour, the only game that can be played in stereoscopic 3D.
Oh, there.
It's 2004. Murphy Pendleton has stolen a police cruiser and crossed state borders looking to revenge his late son Charlie. This landed him in a multiple-year sentence in Ryle State Prison, where he made a deal with Officer George Sewell. This deal allowed him to be in the same shower of his son's rapist and murderer, Patrick Napier.
Jesus, you scared the hell out of me.
And when the two finally meet, Murphy does what anyone would.
Why?
You know exactly why.
A riot breaks out, and Murphy lands himself in the care of Officer Ann Cunningham, who hates the fuck out of Murphy. And while transporting him to the eponymous town, the cruiser crashes, and amongst the chaos, Murphy flees the scene. Which is kind of funny. It reminds me of Telltale's Walking Dead and is inspired by the comics. Kind of cool. Anyways, in Silent Hill, Murphy meets Howard Blackwood.
Wicked old beast, ain't she? What? I said she's a wicked old beast.
Yes, that Howard Blackwood. Now, Murphy has no clue he's speaking to an entity of unknowable age.
Said anything about trouble. Just trying to be helpful, son. Name's Howard, by the way.
Howard informs Murphy there's blockages pretty much everywhere. If he's gonna leave, he needs to take the sky tram near Devil's Pit. Which, after viewing a creature and going like, man, I'm starving. Let's go to Devil's Pit stop. You guys want anything? Let me check today's special. Monday, meat. Tuesday, meat. Wednesday, meat. Thursday, meat. Friday, boiled meat. Saturday, rain. Sunday, fog. What day is it today? You know what? You're right. This shit sucks. Let's get out of here.
Oh, shit!
Okay. Let's actually, head up to Devil's Pit so we can get to the tram.
Seems like a dangerous place to be sightseeing.
Oh, son of a bitch. This is J.P. Sater, a former tour guide of the Gorge. Unfortunately, he is responsible for a train accident in Devil's Pit that claimed the lives of 8 children. He was likely under the influence while piloting the train, and the guilt clearly is eating him alive. You can either choose to console or berate him, but it really doesn't matter. JP's mind is, well, it's already made.
He's seen you around, Murphy. No!
Murphy continues on, likely a little scarred from what he's seen already, and he's beginning to notice radio songs are being played in dedication to him. Tracking down the source of the radio, he meets DJ Bobby Ricks.
They're coming to you courtesy of DJ Ricks on this fine afternoon. Weatherman says there's a storm coming our way to spoil the fun.
Look, they both want to get the fuck out of Dodge, and Bobby's actually got a plan, so let's get on a boat and jet out of here ASAP. Except one problem. He doesn't have the keys.
Those keys. On the silver chain says freedom. You can't. Miss,
Pendleton.
And not only that, but now Anne's here? Fucking shit. What's going on, man? After Murphy comes to, he meets his very own Pyramid Head, the Boogeyman.
Charlie! Charlie!
Holy Christ, dude. What the fuck? Eventually, he kicks its fucking ass with its own hammer, no less. And once he unmasks it, he sees the creature as Napier and flashes, and reflects that his murder brought him no solace. The further Murphy pushes through, the more the machinations of his deal with George begin to unfold. And it explains why Ann Cunningham fought for his assignment in overseeing his case. George became Machiavellian, covering his tracks fully, ordering Murphy to snuff out Frank Coleridge.
What do you say, Cupcake? You gonna play ball?
A man who was to testify against George's miscarriage of justice. Well, Frank was Anne's father. And Frank didn't die quickly. He lived for years in a vegetative state before finally passing. Anne wanted to pay the favor in full to Murphy, and she intends to right fucking now.
Fine.
Reliving the favor over and over has rotted Murphy's mind. Much like Lisa Garland, he's made an earth-shattering discovery. Eye for an eye. He is no different. He is the monster.
Listen to me.
I saw a monster. I saw you.
Just calm down a minute and let me tell you what really happened.
You don't know how many strings I had to pull to get your transfer approved, to get you to my prison. The favors I had to call in, the sick things I had to do to get you under my watch.
You don't have to do this.
My father was a good man. He didn't believe in revenge. But I do.
So now, in the final chapter, Anne's gotta run for her fucking life. And at the end of these series of events, we're greeted with the possibilities of an ending. The most sunny outcome being Murphy sparing Anne. This leads to his self-exile and a flashback, rectifying some of the story. Initially, Murphy refused to kill Frank. Hell, he even stopped before killing Patrick. Sewell beat Murphy to near death and then made him watch as he murdered Frank. It was Sewell who finished Patrick for him, and now it'd be Frank too. And he'd take the fall for both.
Murphy, run!
And this is the thanks I get, Frank!
Murphy reverts to his human self and Anne accosts him once more. He admits the truth of the matter, at least in Anne's life, he was actually innocent. Knowing the whole truth, Anne forgives him. The police contact Anne asking for the whereabouts of Murphy. In her response,
Negative. Pendleton's dead. Over.
Roger that.
You gonna be okay?
You better go.
Devin Shatsky, the creator, cited many influences for the game. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Jacob's Ladder, Suspira, Walking Dead, Rubber Johnny, The Shawshank Redemption, The Fugitive, and The Call of Cthulhu. And if you're paying attention, Travis Grady's truck from Origins appears on Ketchum Street. A radio in front of the Interstate gas station also plays Magdalene on loop, which is like one of the best songs. And the comic Anne's Story features another perspective on this plot and was based off of an unmade DLC, though it is recommended to read it after playing Downpour. All right, it's time to talk about an elephant in the room, something that was gonna be great. Playable teaser, most often known as PT. This was meant to be a continuation of the Silent Hill series, created and directed by Hideo Kojima in collaboration with Guillermo del Toro. It was recognized as a colossal undertaking under the unblinking eye of Konami, and had the full game released, it was going to sit in the Horror Game Hall of Fame for eons. Masahiro Ito, the art director of all the Silent Hills, stated that he would be willing to work on another Silent Hill game with Hideo Kojima. And the absolute fucking goat, Akira Yamaoka, said he would be very happy to compose music as well. I could and will spend longer talking about the game's development and the hype surrounding it than its actual plot. I mean, we really could have had it all, and it's such a goddamn shame that I speak about PT and Silent Hills in a post-mortem sense. I mean, I've learned and experienced so much Silent Hill in such a short span. This game was already so cool before I played, but now, I mean, I understand it.
You've been chosen.
Reminiscent of Lynchian horror with a splash of Chinese cinema. Actually, in a tweet, Hideo stated that the 2002 Hong Kong film The Eye, directed by the Peng brothers, was his main inspiration. The movie is a horror flick based on 2000s Thailand, where a 20-year-old violinist gets a cornea transplant after 15 years of blindness, only to realize not only can she sees ghosts too. PT has us in the pilot seat of a mysterious protagonist. No name, no face, just a concrete room and a filth-laden brown bag. There's one singular door to the north which the player can enter a hallway. They can examine the contents and exit into the right, and, would you believe it, into the same hallway. Minute details constantly change, telling more and more of a story each time. It starts with a radio broadcast reporting on a familicide, done so by the father of two near-identical cases.
The father went to the trunk of his car, retrieved the rifle, and shot his wife as she was cleaning up the kitchen after lunch.
The protagonist would soon understand they're being haunted by an apparition, dubbed Lisa. She doesn't like us very much. The following loops are fucking awful. Hanging bloody fridge, check. Mysterious Swedish broadcast, check. And the worst Benadryl trip known to man. Check. Eventually, we do wax SH4 by peeping into a hole where we hear the grisly murder of a woman, likely being stabbed to death. You don't even have time to process the trauma you just accumulated. Heading into the bathroom to vomit would only be interrupted by one of the most disturbing scenes in any game.
You got fired, so you drowned your sorrows in booze. She had to get a part-time job working.
God damn, my skin is crawling. I think the only thing that would make this worse is if someone started chanting numbers repeatedly.
204863.
Oh, motherfucker.
204863.
All right, man, I'm really starting to lose it. I don't know what else could possibly happen. Fuck. If you want to know why we know the apparition's name, the numbers chanted out were 204863. Credit to Deburro667 on GameFAQs for helping figure this one out. It's where they cite that many Japanese horror games use numbers to represent syllables. 204863 can be decoded as The finale of the teaser has us recollecting fragments of a photograph. And when we do, we're to gouge the eye and answer a phone. And when we do, we hear the following. The door behind us opens and allows us into the foggy streets. And when we do, well, I'll just let you see.
Dad was such a drag. Every day he'd eat the same kind of food, dress the same, sit in front of the same kind of games. Yeah, he was just that kind of guy. But then one day he goes and kills us all. He couldn't even be original about the way he did it. I'm not complaining. I was dying of boredom anyway. But guess what? I will be coming back, and I'm bringing my new toys with me.
Boom! Silent Hills with Norman Reedus. And that's all she wrote. We never really got to see what came after that. We have speculation, rumors, whatnot, all hearsay. But Kojima was quietly kicked from his position at Konami, and public outcry for this debacle was significant.
As you noticed, Hideo Kojima is not here with us tonight, and I want to tell you a little bit about that. But unfortunately, he was informed by a lawyer representing Konami just recently that he would not be allowed to travel to tonight's awards ceremony to accept any awards.
Even prompting Guillermo del Toro himself to state the following.
Fuck Konami.
And I think that's all. That's Silent Hill.
I guess it's time to roll the credits.
I'd say through and through, if you watched all of this, you're a certified Silent Hill head. This was no small feat, and I'm just finally glad to put it to bed. Hey, if you were working on something while watching this video, I hope the project goes well, and I'll see you all again next time. Peace out. Huh? What the hell was that? my god. Oh my god.
Listen, something crazy is going on.
It's all connected.
Your truck is on our planet.
They're here. They're all here. It finally makes sense. I understand now. I get it. I fully get it. This is Silent Hill. This is what it was meant to be. It all makes sense.
Alright, I'm gonna catch you guys later. Alright, see ya.
There's the donut and there's the whole. What matters is falling in love with the story or ideas and realizing those. The whole is so deep and so bad. The donut is a beautiful thing.